welcome to our first edition of Early Bird EdTech. For those people that are kind of checking in at a different time, welcome. All right, so this month we're going to talk about harnessing the power of prompting, writing good prompts for AI so that you get your results in an efficient, quick manner. Just so we all know kind of what's coming up, October, we're planning to have Book Creator, and Tom from Book Creator will be joining us. In November, we're going to do some feedback for students with using Snorkel, and John, one of the founders of Snorkel, will be joining us for that. And then for December, we're going to talk about doing collaborative learning using Padlet. So let's go ahead and get rolling with using prompting to be effective with your use of AI and chatbots. All right, so really the purpose today is to help you feel confident writing clear, effective AI prompts that will help you get better responses and make using AI tools easier and way more efficient. Because I don't know about you, I would much rather type one longer prompt in and get exactly what I want than have to go through multiple times and keep prompting and asking for things. So the secret with AI prompts is it's very different than doing a Google search. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the best way to do that. So just a really quick refresher, generative AI creates new content based on the data it's been trained on. So it can create text, it can create images, videos, audio. And we're talking about things like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and Google Gemini. If you're a teacher, my favorite suggestion from that group is going to be Gemini if it's activated for your district. The reason I like Gemini is if it is activated at your district level, it does not pull any of your data from anything you type in into Gemini's training database, whereas ChatGPT and Copilot do. So anything you enter into those systems is pulled in and used to help better train the AI. But with Gemini using a school account, it is not pulling your data in. Just for some benefits for education, generative AI is really good for creating personalized learning. It's really good for when your brain just does not want to work and you're like, ooh, I have this really good idea, but I don't really know how to break it down into pieces, or I'd like to do this stations activity and I need some ideas. It's also really good for automating tasks. So you can put your schedule in for the day and kind of have it build your schedule for you, helping you create content. So for example, when I'm trying to write a clever social media post, a lot of times I'll use AI to do that. And it's really good to help enhance your students' engagement because you can create things that are custom to your classes. So today, just with the idea of security of data, we're going to focus on using Raina from Magic School. So Raina is Magic School's chatbot, and we'll talk about how to use that in here in just a moment. So when you're writing effective prompts, PTCF is one of the best ways to write an effective prompt. You start by talking about the purpose, so what you want the AI to do. Then you talk about the task, so what is the action you want it to take? What content are you providing? And then what's the format you want it in? I do have this one pager available from Magic School as well that kind of talks about the best purposes and best ways to write prompts for Raina specifically. But it really does kind of go through the same ideas. It's also really important to define your role so that it knows what it's creating for. So let's go ahead and look at using Raina. So the first thing you're going to do is go to magicschool.ai. You're either going to log in or create your account, and you're going to look for Raina. So I'm going to give you a moment to get logged in and to get to the dashboard for Magic School, which will look something like this. All right, so this is my Magic School dashboard. These are all cool options that Magic School has available that are pre-built tools, but we're going to work with Raina over here on the left, their chat bot. So go ahead, take a moment, click on Raina. Usually takes her for a second to load up. You can see your history in Raina. This is kind of funny where I have my easy 5-day dinner plan. We're going to actually use that in a minute, even though it seems silly. So Raina is educationally focused, so she can ask specific questions about, or answer specific questions about teaching history. We'll look at this interactive methods for teaching Spanish verbs, design a fair, comprehensive test on ancient Rome. She can do all those things. Now, just like with anything else AI, you do want to make sure you double check everything that's generated just to make sure it's accurate. I haven't really had any issues with Raina specifically. I have had some with ChatGPT, so that's the other reason I do like using this. So just a quick intro to Raina. You've got your actions button here. She can translate, develop questions, change the length on things, summarize, and do some custom things. So if you were to feed in a document, she could translate that for you. So for example, you have a paperclip here. You can upload things, add things for your Google Drive, Microsoft Drive, or a YouTube video. You can also use the microphone to speak to her as well, to do text to speech. In her responses, you can copy them, export them to these different options. You can send it to Google Docs, Word, print. You can have Raina read to you, or you can go ahead and hit Save Resource. And when you hit Save Resource, if I remember correctly, it pops up, it gives you a title, and then it drops it over in your output history on the left. You want to go up here at the top. You've got two choices. You've got fastest and smartest. We're going to go for fastest today. You would want to set her on smartest for things where you're doing a lot more in-depth processing. So fastest obviously works faster. Smartest is going to be a little bit slower because it's examining and looking through a variety of things. All right, so let's look at how to write a prompt. So we're going to do the key components of a good prompt are persona. So who are you? What's your task you're trying to do? What's the context? And what's the format? And I gave you an example. I got this example at a PD I went to, or a conference I went to, from the keynote speaker. It was just a really interesting idea on how to kind of think about prompting. So we're going to go for this meal plan prompt. Works really well. I've tried it in ChatGPT and in Raina just to try it out. And on Gemini. So let's kind of go with this basic prompts, and I want you to try it. So it says you are a mediocre home cook. So first thing I'm going to tell it is who I am. I am a mediocre home cook. Are you a chef? If you're a professional and you're like the best cook ever, you go ahead and tell Raina you're a great chef. And I want Raina to make me a meal plan for 5 days of dinner. So create a meal plan for 5 days of dinners. All right. All right, and I'm going to tell her exactly what I want. So I want meals made for 2 people. So let's see. Oops. I want meals made for 2 people. I'm not a very good cook. So the recipes should be easy. Easy. Again, if you're a great chef and you want something complicated, you can do that. They should not take more than 30 minutes to make. Because who has time for that right now in their life? I do not like beans, white fish, greens, or soy. True story, I don't like any of those things really. I am allergic to blue and gorgonzola cheese. Random fact, Jones is allergic to cheese. All right, and then use common ingredients across meals so that I don't have to buy a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the format, I want you to give me a grocery list and meal plan with the recipes. All right, so yes, I typed a ton into Raina. Like I typed a lot, but I told Raina exactly what I want. Now, again, is this her purpose? No, but I'm just using this for an example. So take a moment, write your own prompt. You can absolutely refer back to the slide with the breakdown. I'm going to let it sit here for a second so you have a chance to type. Refer back to your slide. And let's see what Raina does. See how she does. So I've heard stories about ChatGPT generating like really random recipes that are just like boiling water and some other things. All right, so here we go. So Raina's generating me out a meal plan with recipes. So my meal plan is popping up. Let's see how she did. There's my grocery list, scrolling away. All right, so let's see how she did. For an educational magic school teaching assistant, she did a pretty good job. So let's look. Here's a simple 5-day dinner plan for 2 people. Each recipe is designed to be easy and completed in under 30 minutes. So she gave me a chicken stir fry. That looks pretty good. But look, she reminded me to check for allergens. I'm not allergic to soy. I just don't like tofu. All right, so she told me to get my cooked rice, all that stuff. All right, so I've got chicken stir fry over rice, pasta with garlic and shrimp. That's kind of funny. I would say shrimp with garlic, but whatever. So there's my pasta recipe. Did pretty good. Tacos with ground turkey. Not bad. Caprese chicken. Let's see. That's pretty good too, actually. Not bad. There's my quesadillas. I like that she did common ingredients, so I've got quesadillas here. Oh no, look, no common ingredients. She did crunchy tacos up here and quesadillas down here, so I'd have to buy both for Shane right now. Okay, so and then there's my grocery list. So with one prompt, now granted, it was a long prompt, but with one prompt, I got exactly what I wanted. All right, so let's make this into, let's actually talk educational things now. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some practicing. So I gave you some example prompts. So I'm going to have you practice with a couple of prompts based on content area. So let's try. I want to try this lovely science one I have here. So you can see I've got practice prompts for ELA, math, science, social studies, art, music, CTE, and STEM, and world language. So let's do science. All right, so I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to go ahead through and do the science one. While I'm doing that, I'm going to give you a moment to pick whichever content you're interested in and try one of the actual practice prompts I gave you for whatever content you choose. All right, so let's see how Rena does with some science. I am a marine biologist. I want to research and report . All right, so I kind of changed the prompt a little bit. Shockingly, the prompts I gave you as samples, I used ChatGPT for. All right, so I made this one a little bit different. I'm a marine biologist. I want to research and report on the impact of climate change on coral reefs. My focus is on the Great Barrier Reef and potential mitigation strategies. Please write a prompt and outline for a scientific research paper on this topic. Now, I want prompt and see here, guidelines. Prompt, guidelines, and a rubric. Ooh, let's get really fancy and ask it for a rubric. Now, if that's what I wanted for my students, granted, again, I've written 3 really kind of long sentences, but let's see if she gives me exactly what I want with just one prompt. All right, so there went my outline. It's kind of long. Rubric popped up. Rubric's generating. Look at that. It's even putting it in a table, which is really nice. Now, my problem with this would be great, but I realized as it was generating, look at this. It generated an outline for a 2, 4, 5, 10, 13, 14-page paper. Realistically, I'm not going to ask a kid to write a 14-page paper. So let's do this. I needed to adjust it. Let's make an adjustment. So I'm going to try to adjust this again. So I'm going to take my original prompt because that's just way too hard. That's not really what I'm looking for. And I am going to say I am a 10th grade biology teacher. I want my students to research and report. Okay, so let's see how it changes just based on changing the persona or the person it's asking. All right, so now I have a one-page introduction, 2 to 3 pages of research findings. Still kind of lengthy. Rubric looks a little bit more reasonable. All right, so let's see how she did. So I don't love the page links on my outline, but I really could live with most of this. Look at this. Summarize how climate change affects coral reefs, focusing on these 3 areas. Use at least 3 reputable sources. That's pretty good. My conclusion, I'm pretty happy with that. Mitigation strategies. Now, I would probably, this page length might be a little bit too much, but I'm pretty happy with what it came up with. And notice, if I had changed the wording initially, it would have done a really good job on the first try. And it gave me everything I asked for. It gave me the prompt, it gave me an objective, it gave me a guidelines or outline. It wrote out my rubric. Now, would I probably want to change it maybe just a little bit? Maybe, but not a ton. And then this framework will help your students understand blah, 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 blah. Now, look at this. Can you provide a draft prompt for the research paper to get started? Or what are some key points I should include in the guidelines for the students? Oh, I like this one. What are key points I need to include for them? All right, look at that. All right, so now she's given me 10 key points for my students. Again, I might not use all 10, but look, use credible sources, talk about writing styles, talk about visual aids. All right, so let's see, what do we have down here? Could you provide examples of effective guidelines from other teachers? Ooh, what are some common mistakes to avoid when creating guidelines? I don't really like either of those, but let's see. Could you give a sample, a non-example for students to view? Let's see if she can give me a bad example or a non-example. Oh, that's great. Look at that. That's awesome. Okay, so it gave me a non-example. So here's a non-example research paper excerpt that highlights common mistakes and poor practices. So look at this. Coral reefs are cool. The Great Barrier Reef is the biggest reef and is really important for fish. Climate change is bad. All right, look. References, random website I found a book about the ocean. And then it tells exactly what was wrong with that non-example. All right, I really like that. And then let's see, could you explain why this non-example is important for students? All right, so Raina has some really good options, and I love that it gives you these prompts to continue your work. So I want to make sure I don't lose that. So I'm going to save it in my output, and I'm going to put in coral reef research, give it a name so I can come back to it later. Save it. All right. Anytime you save things in your output history on Magic School, they go over here on the left where it says output history. And then when you click on it, you can find them. So for example, where did it go? Coral reef research, right there you go. So it gave me for my resources, it popped right in there. It is right here under my resources. There it is, and it'll show you my whole thread. Like I can go back in and pull the full thread of that chat with Raina. That's the other reason I like it. ChatGPT, I've had issues in the past with it not pulling my threads or losing those things. This does not lose it. Now, since my thread started with me cooking, it's obviously going to have my meal prep at the top, but You can see right here where I started the actual prompt for my assignment. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what the plan is if you are planning to do the takeaway activity to get your full CEU. So I did include some prompts that are pre-written. This 50 Chat GPT prompts for teachers. I know it says Chat GPT, but you could use it on anything. So your takeaway activity, so if you're choosing to do this for one CEU, you have now completed about 20 minutes of session with me. So if you're planning on doing this as a takeaway activity to get your CEU, what you're going to do is you are going to use Raina or whatever chatbot of your choice, I suggest Raina, to create a lesson component for you. So you're going to choose an upcoming lesson for one of your classes. It does not have to be as complex as a essay. That's just the prompt I chose. You're going to come up with an aspect of the lesson where AI could be helpful. So maybe you want to create some warm-ups. Maybe you want to generate discussion questions. Maybe you want to come up with a good formative assessment. And I want you to write 2 different prompts for this task. All right, so you're going to write your 2 prompts using the strategy. So using the persona task context format strategy. You can absolutely use some of the examples to kind of look and guide where you're going to work. Okay. Anyway, so you're going to write 2 prompts for whatever the task is, applying what we learned. You're going to use Raina and Magic School to generate responses to your prompts. And then you're going to evaluate your prompts and refine them if necessary. And then write a reflection that tells me how the quality of your prompts affected the AI responses, how you might incorporate this into your lesson, and benefits and challenges. So in order to submit that, there is a Google form. So you click here to submit your takeaway activity. So I'll show you kind of what that Google form looks like. So you're going to go through, you're going to fill out the Google form. Got my first name, last name. Session date is whatever day you're taking it on. So let's see. Oh, that's my birthday. Why did it put my birthday? That's silly. Session date, we'll put the original date. All right. Pick your session. So we're doing harnessing the power of prompting. All right, we're going to hit next. If you chose the correct session, it's going to take you to the prompting takeaway. So I would copy and paste my prompt into here. So let's pull up that prompt. This is my first prompt, the marine biologist one. Boop. Copy, paste it there. Feedback generated. Ooh, buddy, did it give me stuff? It gave me all the things. All right, now let's put that in there. Okay. Oh, it's fine. All right, was I happy with my results? No, I wasn't. So I edited my prompt. Where's my edited prompt? There it is. Copy, paste. The feedback it generated. Wow, that's a lot. Copy. It's fine. Paste. All right, was I happy with my results that time? Yes. And then these are the 3 questions I'm going to answer. How did the quality of my prompts affect the AI's responses? I had to be more specific about my role, my persona, and then I don't know. I will keep talking about it. All right. So that will be your takeaway. Hit next. I'm going to ask you my couple generic questions like, did you enjoy this session? Blah, 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 blah. All right. So that should take care of submitting your takeaway activity. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me, check out my website, find me on any of these places. Hopefully you enjoyed this and this helps you write prompts that get exactly what you want with very limited redrafts, redos. All right. If you have questions, let me know and have a great day.